So I was talking to Shen and I was like, I'm going to go over this framework that has helped me in my life to be able to get ahead. It's called blame yourself. When I was younger, a lot of times, my dad would always get upset at us as little kids because, like our parents, they have their own upbringings or their own, issues. And sometimes they don't know better. Sometimes they just don't have the tools to be better. Right. So, all the time, everything or something was like always our fault. Right. Like there was always something happening. And I was like, why is everything like my fault? Like, why am I always getting blamed? So growing up, I've always had it in my mind that everything's my fault. Right. And so that, although it may look like it was something negative, I always like to see the silver lining in everything. And I turned something that could have been so negative into something very positive. So in every situation growing up as a kid, because, my dad was like, it's your fault, it's your guys' fault, what have you. It was always in my mind, like, and it could have been not, right? Like most of the time, I don't think it was. We were just kids, my brother and I. And so growing up, I was always like, okay, yeah, like it's my fault. And so because everything was our fault, it was like, okay, well, when you blame yourself, right? So that I call this the blame yourself framework. When you blame yourself for everything that happens, good or bad, you're taking responsibility, right? So you're taking responsibility, and really the silver lining of blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, whether or not you did it or not, or someone may have come in and did something wrong, is you're taking control back, really. Because when you blame yourself for a situation or something that went wrong, ultimately, you're taking accountability for whatever happened, regardless if you did it or not, or there were other parties involved. And when you take that blame into your hands and you take control over the situation back, you're like, okay, it's my fault then. Whatever happened, it's my fault. You stole from me, it's my fault because I obviously allowed you or put you in a position to be able to steal from me, right? So it's my fault. It's not your fault that you're stealing. It's my fault that I let you steal, right? Lesson learned. And so I always like to implement the blame yourself framework, right? For anything and everything, because ultimately what you're doing is you are taking responsibility and control back in your hands, and you're evaluating the situation from a standpoint of, so if this was my fault, that means I had total control over it. And whether I knew it at the time or not, or whether I haven't learned the lesson yet, let me take this time to evaluate what went wrong, why it went wrong, and why it was my fault. And when you do that, you start to think on an entirely different level because you no longer play the victim game, right? You take the control back and you're like, I am not a victim. I am the one at fault. So there were things that I could have done to prevent this. And because I've grown up on this framework, because it was instilled in me since I was a kid, I've always looked at every situation like this was my fault. And so because it was my fault, what could I have done better? What did I not see that I could have saw? What could I do next time to prevent the situation? Because most of the time, the situations are the same, and you will keep learning the same lesson until you've learned it. So if you start to implement a blame yourself framework, you will start to think in a whole different manner, because I think nowadays, like, it is so easy to blame other things, right? Like you can blame other people, you can blame the event, you can blame the situation, you can whatever. We can literally pull out a dictionary and start from A and end at Z for things that we choose that we want to blame things for, right? But when you start to blame yourself and you start to look at the situation as in you had complete control and you missed something, you start to think differently. You start to look for solutions. And when you start to look for solutions, now you are the leader of your own problem. You're the leader of your own life. And regardless or not, if you know it or not, every day you have to lead yourself, right? So let's say you don't have a team, you don't have employees, you're not a business owner, you don't have kids, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we are all still responsible for leading ourselves, right? And so in order to lead yourself, you really have to become self-aware and start to take that accountability of situations that happen in your life, whether it was a good situation, a bad situation, and constantly evaluate. So but when I also say like the blame yourself framework, I don't want you to like beat yourself up. I don't want you to be like, oh my goodness, like it's all my fault. Like I did it again, this, that, and the other thing. That is not productive. Like I want you to use the framework to evaluate what happened and what you can do moving forward and where were the things that you should have implemented, and not just beat yourself up and be like, I can't believe I did it again, and kind of go into this negative spiral, because then the blame yourself framework, it's not like a silver lining. It's not positive. It's not taking responsibility or control back. It's just, counterproductive, right? So
yes,
I wanted to just kind of go over that, the blame yourself framework and taking yourself out of the victim mentality. Because when you put yourself in a victim mentality and you start blaming other people, other things, other events, you're never going to grow. You are never going to grow. And forever, you're basically saying, everyone and everything has control over my life. I have no control over my life because it's always somebody else's fault, right? Like, stop getting mad at other people or other events and start, kind of getting upset at yourself and being like, well, what could I have done? What should I have done? What should I be doing? And then once you actually form what happened and you have knowledge moving forward of how you can prevent that situation, take that and then apply it to the next situation you're in. Take that energy of taking control over the situation back and knowing better. You learned the lesson. You don't need to learn it again. And actually take the energy of it. And instead of going into a downward spiral and going into like, victim or blame game, whatever, just take that energy and use it moving forward to take action in the next steps.
yeah. So we should include a question, for you, because this is such a good framework, the blame yourself framework. I learned this in 2017. I spent $25,000 to learn that framework. So she learned it for free.
For free as a kid.
As a kid, I learned it for spending $25,000. But yeah, the blame yourself framework is so important because everyone here, whether they like it or not, at one point in time, there was a feeling that you had inside where you did not feel in control. Here's the magic though. The magic of this framework is you are always 100% in control of what happens for you and what happens to you. Here's why. It's because when you step up, when you decide to take full responsibility for everything, whether it's your fault or not, whether you take the blame or not, you step into that leadership role where you're able to say, this is how I'm going to feel about it. This is what I'm going to do about it. This is how it's going to affect me. You are the determining factor when it comes to you feeling how, if you're at fault or if you want to get upset or if you want to be empowered, right? It just depends on what you want to do. It depends on how you want to feel. It depends on how you let the circumstance and situation control and dictate your life. So when you say, I'm going to blame myself, guess what? It's because I'm stepping up as a leader to blame myself intentionally and then decide on what to do next. Decide on how I want to feel about it. Decide on how, I'm going to let it dictate my life. When there's many different lessons, I'm pretty sure, just ask a question. When was a time for you where you felt like you were out of control, but you decided to just take action? You decided to take responsibility for it and then take control of that situation. When was a time when you felt like, even though it was not your fault whatsoever, you said, I'm going to just step up and take action on it. I'm going to control the situation. There's so many different times in life where you're going to be in this situation where it's not your fault at all. However, it's still affecting you. When those times happen, how are you going to let those emotions affect you, right? For me, I remember in 2019, right? 2019, I was in a situation where it was not my fault at all. And it actually destroyed my reputation and my personal brand. It destroyed everything I worked hard for. For 6 years, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into my work, my business, building my face, building my personal brand. And just because of association, everything crumbled. And I had nothing to do with it at all. I had nothing to do with the situation whatsoever. However, what I hear is what I learned. I learned that because that situation happened, I didn't step up and take full ownership of how I can control my next steps. Instead, I got consumed with the emotions, with all the negativity, with all just the blame and everything. And it led me down like a path where I was just literally lost in life. And I had nothing to do, again, with the situation. However, I was in control of how I felt. I was in control of what happened to me. I was in control of what I could do, but I just didn't know better, right? Sometimes in life, it's like what Crystal said. If you know better, you're going to be better because you're going to be able to assess the situation and then take full responsibility for it. So it just depends on, your life situation, on everything. But at the end of the day, if you take full responsibility for the blame, whatever that blame may be, then it's going to be good for you because you're stepping up. You're taking control and you're being the leader of your own ship. You're the one that's leading the ship, driving the ship. And whatever happens to you in life, boom, it's there for you for a reason, right? Whatever that reason may be, we don't know until it's hindsight. So guess what? When it comes to getting blamed, right? When it comes to you blaming yourself, what are you going to do when that next situation happens? What are you going to do to step up and to, lean on other people or lean on yourself from within, to lean on that leader that's within, and then continue to move forward? Like never look back, but keep on moving forward, right? And then there's like I have another story for that, the $25,000 one.
I
But
want to hear it since
yeah,
I think that would be really valuable. But what lesson did you learn from that? Like getting into that situation,
yeah.
someone doing something, you just being associated with them. Like what lesson did you learn from that? What was your takeaway from that? And what would you do differently if you ever were to even have a slight hint of being in that situation or around a person that is similar to that one?
Okay, yeah. Let me address that then.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of lessons. That's why it's like I have an entire list. But here's the biggest lesson I got from that situation. So I was working with millionaires, right? Just people who made 7 figures. And after that situation, I lost everything. I was reminded of, you know what? I was working with people that were making way more money than just $1 million. So why did I level down? Why was I working with people that were not at the same level that I was operating at prior, right? And it gave me a realization of, what is the overall big picture and the vision that I'm going after. So from that moment, from that situation, from that experience, that was literally one of my most rock bottom moments, like the deepest rock bottom moment ever. Like I was living in my car for 3 to 6 months. I forget how many months, but it was a long time. I was showering in the gym. I was, barely eating because I had no money. All these things. I lost so much. I lost everything. I lost everything I worked hard for. The biggest lesson I got from that is don't work with millionaires, work with billionaires. I know it's so weird, but after that experience, I told myself, why am I learning and associating myself with millionaires when I want to get to the big leagues, when I want to work with, just a different level, when I want to go back to a level that I was playing at. So I started to, this is how powerful mindset is. This is how powerful putting anything into your mind is. Whatever you see is whatever you think, whatever you do. Okay. Everything that you say, think, and do, everything that comes into your environment, it's going to affect you whether you like it or not. I'm going to share with you how powerful just what you see can do for you, because it's going to affect your belief system, your subconscious mind, okay? The subconscious programming within. And whether you know it or not, it's going to affect your reality. After that experience, after I hit rock bottom, I told myself, never again am I going to surround myself with people at a level that I don't want to play at. I'm going to go all out and I'm going to play at the level I want to play at. So I started to watch and revisit billionaires. I started to listen to billionaires. I started to listen to the people at the top of the game in the entire world. I started to listen to people who've made history. I started to listen to people whose philosophies have been here for hundreds of years. Okay. Here's what happened next. In the next 3 months from me starting that, it was actually like 60 days. Someone who IPO'd, I worked with them. That's the power of just putting into your subconscious mind, into your environment, of what can happen for you. That's the power of what can happen for you. It happens like that. It happens fast. So I literally 3 months prior to that, I'm working with millionaires. Then I'm working with someone who's made over $100 million in those 90 days. Again, everything is always a 90-day time frame, 90-day time frame and 18-month time frame. In those 90 days that I decided to just surround myself with people at a different level, at the level I want to play at. Within 90 days, one of them came into my life. When it comes to your life, what level are you playing at? Right? When it comes to your life, who do you want to be surrounded with? In these next 90 days, if you put it into your subconscious mind, if you put it into your environment, if you start to listen to different people at different levels, they will come into your life 100%. The reason why I say that, I was homeless. And a person that, is playing at that level came into my life within 90 days. Okay? Within 90 days. Why not you? Right? I'm telling you right now, it's possible. I've lived it, literally. I've lived it. I went from the bottom of the bottom, right? All ego, all trauma, all blaming myself and everything, but in a negative way and not in an empowering way. And then I decided to just shift my focus, shift my perspective, shift my environment, shift the energy around me. And I just had hope and faith. And I believed 100% that why am I playing at a different level when I could be playing here? And that's why I did. I just set my intention on that. It came through within 90 days. Okay. So I've been through a lot of stuff. When it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to business, I'm going to tell you guys something too. I didn't realize this until like last year, but I had a deep rooted trauma from network marketing. Okay. The deep rooted trauma that I had from network marketing from 2013 to like 2015 was a job sucks. A job, just over broke. All the people who have jobs are job, just over broke. That's what the mentality and the mindset that I was shaped with from people in 2013. Literally 1 year ago only, 2022, I was able to find out that stupid limiting belief, that negative limiting belief, and I broke it once I realized it. Again, what Crystal said, awareness, going back to awareness, right? If you are self-aware, even to the limiting beliefs that you have, to those deep-rooted beliefs that are lost, you find them, you are aware of it, you can change it right away. The reason why I bring up that story is because the job, just over broke, that mindset that I had prior in 2019, when I went through that trauma for myself, that experience, right? When I went through rock bottom, when I went homeless, I didn't get a job. I refused to get a job. I decided, no, a job is not for me. I'd rather be homeless than get a job. And that's what I did. That's how driven and focused I was on just keeping my word to myself. I'm not getting a job because I'm not an employee, right? I went homeless. Guess what? That was an experience and lesson that I needed to go to so that way I can know like myself. So I can know myself. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with a job. Once I like destroy that limiting belief, once I change that perspective that was like planted in me, then everything changed. And I'm just like, a job is freaking good. Like you should have a full-time job and work part-time on your fortune. Like you should be able to control your finances and control your life. But that right there, it is just part of my story, right? If you ever, there's a lot of people out there who are in business, they're entrepreneurs, etc. There's people that are diehard entrepreneurs and business owners. There are people who are just diehard business and they refuse to get a job. I'm one of those people. I'm just one of those people that say, if I'm going to do something, I do it. And that's it. And that's what I did. I stuck to my word. I said yes, no other plan B. I literally had no plan B. I'm just focused on my goals. That's it. Whether I like it or not, whether I do it or not, it's just, this is where I'm going. And I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there. Right. And that's why I did. And so for me, like in terms of hindsight, because there's too many lessons I learned from that one experience. There's literally too many lessons I learned. This is another big lesson. Don't fall for other people's co-signing. Okay. Whenever someone co-signs on someone else, they put their reputation on the other person. They put their character and their integrity to co-sign on someone else. They put their reputation on the line, right? Never, I'm telling you right now, if you want to go down the path that I went through and experience what I experienced, never ever let someone else's cosign dictate your decisions. Okay. Here's what happened. All the influencers in the entrepreneur space, okay, all the influencers, because that was my network back then, surrounded with a bunch of influencers, all of them co-signed on this person. All of them co-signed on this group of people that I was working with. This group of people hit me up. They wanted me to be part of their company, their COO. It's a startup, whatever. It was successful, but it was about the people, right? It's always about the people. That's why I truly believe that everything rises and falls on people, right? On leadership, it's on people. When it comes to co-signing, all the influencers in the entrepreneur space co-signing these people. These guys are coming up. These guys are crushing it. These guys are doing big things, blah, 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 blah. Never let anyone, right? Never let anyone dictate your decisions just by co-signing, okay? Like I obviously didn't know I was gonna talk about this, but there's so many different like lessons that I learned. Like there's just too many. Like I'm not gonna make these stupid mistakes again.
Yeah.
It's literally like it's amateur. That's amateur hour right there.
Yeah.
It's like amateur decisions, and I can't focus because.
But then you went back to the situation and you were like, what could I have done differently, and what are my takeaways, right? So there was still a silver lining where you're like, I'm gonna blame myself for getting myself into the situation. I'm gonna take accountability. And because you blamed yourself and you took accountability for a situation that you did not put yourself into knowingly, knowing all the lessons you learn now, you were like, what could I have done differently? Because you could have been like, they're bad people, they're this, they're that, which yes, they were. But at the same time, you took that accountability into your hands and you were like, all right, how do I not get into this same situation again? Like, what are my lessons here? And what are my new frameworks to go off?
Yeah, I have a lot. Again, like I said, I have a lot, but like just one thing, okay? Like I think that there's always good and bad in people, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that they're bad people. I'm just gonna say that they were very naive and they were making stupid business decisions and stupid people mistakes. Because here's what I learned from billionaires, Charlie Munger, right? Warren Buffett. They always hire and only work with people who have three things, right? It's energy, intelligence, and integrity. And if they don't have the last one, integrity, forget about the first two.
Wow. Huge.
Okay. Integrity is everything.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't have integrity, why are you associating with them? They are a reflection off of you. Okay. So when it came, like, I don't have it like, when it comes to like sharing these like lessons, like I just have a list in for myself. It's integrated in myself, and it's just something that I don't want to share and discuss right now. Okay. But what I will share is that there's three big things, three big takeaways. Don't fall for anyone who's co-signing on someone else. Make your own decision for yourself. Okay. Just because everyone else, just because all the influencers say that this group of people is good and they're crushing it, it's totally fine. No, I went homeless because of that association. Okay. That's one. Second thing, I was in that situation in the first place financially because I refused to get a job. It was because of limiting beliefs, right? Guess what? There's so many different lessons with that. But work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune, okay? Jim Rohn. Third, big vision, big picture. Stretch your goals. Stretch what you envision. Stretch what is possible for you. I was working with multimillionaires, and then I went down to working with just regular, just different level people, okay? Millionaires and billionaires, it doesn't matter. It's about the person. I was working with people at the top of the game, people at the top of the industry. Then when I went on my own, then I decided to like, oh, I'm going to play this level right here. I'm going to go lower. that's just because that was part of my entrepreneurial path. So I started to work with people at a level that is they're trying to get to the people that I was working with already. And then I said, all right, I'm at rock bottom now. I can do anything I want now. I can recreate my story. I can recreate my vision. I can recreate my path. Well, where do I really want to go? Right? Where do I really want to go? Why am I listening and learning and associating with people at this level when I could be associating and learning and listening with these people at this level? So then I decided to just change my perspective and expand my vision, expand what is possible for me. I decided to learn from the top of the top, a level beyond who I was already working with, beyond the level that I was working at. Billionaires, people at the top. And I'm talking about the financial, like, the business world, learning from billionaires. Everyone here can learn from a billionaire right now. Okay. Whether it's in person or whether it's online, whether it's through a podcast, through a YouTube video, whatever, through books. My mentor told me, like, you should learn from the imminent dead. That's what he said. Why? It's because what does he mean by that? He means that people who are long gone in history, they've already passed away. You can still learn from them because of the resources that they left behind, right? Who here knows who Sam Walton is? Who is Sam Walton? Sam Walton is the founder of Walmart. Okay? Walmart. If you look at the Forbes list right now, the Walton family, they are on the Forbes list. Walmart was established a long time ago. Can you still learn from Sam Walton? Yes. Yes, you can. Okay? He has a book called Made in America. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let me just double check. Let me just double check that real quick. Because it's yeah. Sam Walton, Made in America. Okay? I highly encourage every single one of you here to read that book. Why? He's in that book. There's many different principles that he talks about. Okay? There's many different principles that he talks about. He wrote this book on his deathbed. Okay? Talking about learning from the imminent dead. You can learn from people who have already been gone. Okay? You can learn from them. Just look for the resources. Get curious. Be intentional. Play at a different level. Okay? If anything you take from this call today, from these all my experiences, play at a different level. Expand your vision. Expand your perspective. Okay? It's possible. I'm telling you right now. And you're in it to win it anyways. You're here for a reason, right? So it's so important that if you want to get to the next level, you have to stretch what you think is possible for you right now, right? If you feel like you are good, if you feel like you're stable and like you're just going through the motions, you need to just give yourself a reality check and say, I'm going to step my game up today. I'm going to get to the next level. What is that next level for me? Because I'm telling you right now, the worst place you can be as an entrepreneur is when you're at a plateau, when everything's kind of feeling mundane, when there's no big change, when you don't feel like energy, like you woke up like, oh, I got to get out of bed right now. Like Warren Buffett says, he always jumps out of bed, right? Every single morning he wakes up, he jumps out of bed instead. You want to feel like you're jumping out of bed every single day because you're so excited and fired up to go after your goals and dreams. You're so excited and fired up to help someone else in you. You're so excited and fired up to change someone's life. I'm telling you right now, if you are not jumping out of bed, give yourself a reality check and say, what am I doing that needs to change? What level am I playing at? Should I go bigger? Why not?
Always.
Yeah, why not? It just depends. It depends on you. But like you asked me, like, what lessons I learned. The biggest lesson I learned, there was really 3 big lessons and many different like frameworks that I created from that.
Wow.
It's too many to list.
Yeah.
And it'll take me 10 hours to like talk about it. Okay. Like in terms of practical steps, 10 hours. I'm telling you right now, it's ridiculous. But I don't want anyone to suffer like that. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. All your hard work and effort gone down the drain.
Yeah.
Just because of associations. That's why I say who you associate with is who you become, right? If you hang out with losers, you will be a loser. But if you hang out with winners, you'll be a winner. I'm telling you right now. For me, I can say that because all throughout my life, I always hung out with every single circle. Okay. I hung out with everyone. The people that were the nerds, the people that were the losers, the people that were the popular people. I hung out with all of them because I didn't care. I just look at them as a human being. That's it. I never judged. So, but I'm telling you right now, you know, if you're in business, you should judge people. You should make sure that you're auditing your circle.
Yeah.
Audit the people that you surround yourself with. The reason for that's because, again, my lesson, right? Just because of who I was associated with, when they went down, I went down with them for literally no reason. Okay. But it's just because the reason is because of association,
Yeah.
right? So when you guys start to like step up and expand what you play at, the level that you play at, associations is going to be part of that experience, right? Who you associate with is who you become. And not only that, but who you associate with is going to be a reflection of your character, of your integrity, whether you know it or not, and whether you like it or not, and whether they're good people or not, it doesn't matter. And especially for you, if you're a good person, you deem yourself as a good person, yet you hang out with people that are losers, or you hang out with people that are bad people, considered bad people, it's just a reflection off of you. So again, like that's to answer your question. You know, that's why I always tell the kids, who you hang out with is who you become.
Yeah.
Right.
And it happens, you know, like I've been around big groups before, and sometimes there will be like that one or two or three, like a small handful of people that are very, very different from the entire group, right? Like they're very, very different. But eventually, like as the years go by, like their associations and their mindset and the way they act, the way they speak, it literally just seeps into them. And I'm like, oh my goodness, of all people, I really thought this person or that person would like never, you know, sway that way. But it does happen, and it happens so slowly, like you don't even notice it, right? And so that's the importance of like surrounding yourself around good people you want to be like, people who you respect. And sometimes you get into situations because you don't know any better. You really don't know any better. You didn't learn the lessons yet. People around you maybe didn't even know. Like they could have had the best intentions for you. They thought what they thought. They said what they said. And it just didn't work out that way, right? And you slowly had to start seeing it for yourself. And you know, you can bring these things up and you can ask people like, hey, like, why are you the way you are? Like, do you think that you should change, or like,
No,
think
no,
that
no.
that's okay? But at the end of the day, like, you know, everyone has a chance to change. And if they are not changing, they're not willing to see like what you're saying or what it is, then it's time to cut that person off. And as hard as it is to cut people off, you just have to in order to grow to like the next level. And there have been times, I'm sure, where you guys had to lose friends, lose relationships, lose people that you thought were the forevers in your life, because after a while you were like, hey, like this is not right, and I'm becoming someone different, and things are not changing, and I can't continue to go down this path, right? So sometimes you kind of have to, what is it called, shed the fat and just change who you're around.
Well, I'll tell you this, like, just like think about yourself, okay? Think about yourself, think about all your loved ones, think about your family, think about your future, think about what you are going to be known for, right? Guess what? And I'm talking about reputation, right? I'm talking about your reputation right now. Would you bet your entire life? Would you bet your entire reputation, all the hard work and effort that you've made, that you've done, that you've put in, would you bet it on bad people? No. So don't do it now. And if you're doing it right now, it's time. Okay. It's time to decide. But I want to get off this topic because I don't think it's important to discuss anymore. We already get it, right? Associations are everything. Who you associate with is who you become. I'm going to tell you this. Do not fall for clout. Okay. Clout is just whatever. Clout, do not fall for it ever whatsoever. It's ridiculous and it's immature and childish. Okay. Don't let that be the downfall. Okay. It's an amateur mistake. Okay. It's an amateur mistake. What I wanted to get to is a $25,000 lesson that I learned. It's about yourself and about your relationships. It's about what you were talking about earlier. Your dad was always blaming you, right?
Yeah.
So in your relationships right now, in your life right now, when people are blaming you, right? When people are blaming you, and when you're blaming other people, if you do that, okay? There's two ways to blame someone. This is what I learned. There's two ways to blame someone. The first way to blame someone is in a disempowering way. Okay, you're blaming them because it's the ego. The second way is to blame them through empowerment, to blame them intentionally, right? So for example, with your dad, Bella, do you need help?
What do you need?
Sorry, Bella is over here.
What do you need? A plate? A plate?
Okay, so when you blame someone intentionally, right? When you blame someone intentionally, you're blaming them for all the good that has come from the bad. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So for example, when Crystal said that her dad was blaming her all the time, so she had to take full responsibility for everything that she did, she decided, you know, upon reflection, that, you know what, yes, it is all my fault. Yes, it is. I'm going to take full responsibility. Yes, I'm going to do better and I'm going to get better, right? So she decided to blame her dad intentionally, saying, thank you for all of the lessons that you taught me. Thank you for everything that you blamed me for, even when I was a child, even when it was not even my responsibility as a child to be an adult. But she's now saying, I'm blaming my dad intentionally to thank him for all those lessons, because now it has now empowered me to become a different person, to do what I got to do, right? So that's how you do it though. You know, like when you have a relationship, right? Everything that you're blamed for, right? Or everything that you blame someone else for, if you're going to blame them for the bad, you need to also blame them for the good. That was a $25,000 lesson I learned. When you blame someone, if you're blaming anyone for the bad, you better be blaming them all for the good as well. Because there's always a duality. There's two sides to the coin. There's always something that you can take away. There's always a lesson that you can learn from that experience, okay? Going back to my experiences, all the negative experiences, there was so many positives on the opposite end of the negatives, simply because it's about perspective. That's why it goes back to perspective. If you can understand and you're self-aware and you can decide for yourself to take full responsibility for all the good and the bad, you now have full control as a leader. You now have full control of the outcome of your life's outcome, because you are in 100% full control. Does that make sense? So when it comes to perspective, right? If you're going through bad things right now, your perspective is the duality. You're looking on the bad, the negative. If you're looking at something that's negative right now, you can see the positive already 100%. Okay, that's the entire lesson right there. And then obviously, you know, based on how life looks for you, it's going to determine your outcome. It's going to determine your perspective. It's going to determine, you know, how you're feeling inside, right? If you want to be in stillness or if you want to be in chaos, it's up to you. You always have full control of your life situations, of what happens to you, because it's happening for you. Okay, so that's that. Now I want to move on, if there's no questions about that, because it's just lessons, you know, it's life lessons in general. I wanted to discuss something earlier today that we went through this entire thing. I had a coaching call on Monday, and they're asking me for help when it comes to their business. It's just business in general. So there's going to be two points to this what I address. The first one is going to be for everyone who's brand new and just starting up their business. Okay, brand new and starting up the business, and then we're going to end it with the person who's crushing it, and they can get to the next level. Okay, so the first one is this. Because I'm telling you this right now too, as a leader, when you start to onboard new people, because we're about to go on a recruiting spree, right? So guess what? And a recruiting spree, just to give you guys some more context with that, every single business, every single organization, every single person is always recruiting. Okay, if you're not recruiting, if you don't have your recruiting hat on at all times for anything that you do, then sooner than later you're going to start to see everything go like this, downhill. Okay, when you are actively and intentionally recruiting talent, okay, getting your list together, always attracting the best of the best, you're literally creating momentum for you. Okay, and sooner than later that momentum will skyrocket. It's going to give you that fuel that you need to skyrocket everything, your success, your impact, etc. Every single person here, I encourage you all to always have a system that is that's constantly recruiting talent, the best of the best. You do not want to be the best of the best on your team. You do not want to be the best of the best in your business. You do not want to be the best of the best in your organization. You want to be surrounded with the best of the best. That's the framework right there. So when it comes to starting your business, when it comes to starting off your business, okay? Because this was on Monday. You're starting from zero. You're starting from zero, right? So, oh, it's not going to reach. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me still? When you're starting from zero, right? There's two people. One and two. The person that's starting off, thank you. The person that's starting off is starting with zero momentum, okay? Zero momentum. When you're here, when you're just beginning, you need to create momentum. You need to create momentum. The way to do that is with a 30-day sprint. It's a 30-day burst of energy in the first 30 days. 0 to 30. This right here, I'm telling you all right now, to launch your brand, because everyone here is building a personal brand, right? Especially in this business. You are the face of the brand. That means that you are the vehicle to success. In the first 30 days, and you could, even if you've been thriving for like years, it doesn't matter. If this is business talk right now, when you want to get momentum and create momentum, 0 to 30 days, all out massive action. Do 10 times what you're doing right now. Okay. If you're starting from zero, if you need to create momentum, 10x all your efforts on marketing. That's what it is right here. I'm going to put it right here. So marketing is just, let's just talk about social media. Instagram. Let's say Instagram. All your efforts, you want to 10x for the first 30 days. Okay. So if you're doing 1 post a day, aim to do 10 times a day. Aim to do 10 posts a day. I'm telling you right now, the reason for that, okay, regardless of algorithm talk, regardless of if it works or not, the reason to 10x your efforts is because you need to create momentum. That's the big takeaway. As leaders, everyone here is a leader. You need to help your people. You need to help yourself create momentum by 10xing everything. This is just a fast start. This is just a fast start to ingraining and instilling the habit of crushing it, the habit of creating momentum. Okay, that's what you got to do in the first 30 days. And then the next 30 to 60 days, you have enough data now. You should have enough data to make wiser decisions. You should have enough data to refine your decision-making process. Okay, so now right here, this is about refinement. But if you can still maintain and sustain the 10x efforts and actually go to 100x, then you should do that. Okay. But if you can't, at least you have better data to go with. But you should really start to crank it up right here. So I'm going to just put 100x right here, because now you're knowing what's working. This right here, this process is about, maximizing your inputs to maximize the outputs. Because this process right here is 90 days of knowing what works. Okay. 60 to 90 days. You should start to be seeing results right here. Because you have so much data now. If you did this properly, if you did 10x properly in the very beginning, if you created momentum properly, okay? And I'm talking about marketing, Instagram specifically. So this is for the person that is just starting out, the newest promoter, the newest business owner, the newest entrepreneur, whatever idea you want to push out. The first 30 days, 10x all efforts, just to get enough data to understand what you're doing, what's working, what's not working. The next 30 to 60 days, you want to 100x those efforts, because you're going to be refining the data. You're going to be able to understand like what's really working and what's not. And you start to double down on what works and what doesn't. And then you start to maximize all your inputs and outputs because of data. The last 60 to 90 days is about getting results. Once you get the results, from these efforts. Okay, it's a 90-day run. Once you get the results from these efforts, all of this right here is just to get back to day 0 to 30, because now you have better understanding, better data to work with. And now when you do this again, when you do the next 90-day run, you're going to start to see this. You're going to start to see results faster. And then from here, in the next 30 to 60, again, the second quarter, you're going to be able to decrease your inputs, because now you know what works, and you increase your outputs, because now all you're focusing on is doubling down on what works. You're 10xing and 100xing what works. And then from there, the next 60 to 90 days in the second quarter is just about getting results. Again, it's just spitting out results now, because you already know what works. So this is for the person that's just starting out, needs to create momentum right away. Every single business needs to have momentum in the very beginning, and it has to sustain and continuously create momentum. Otherwise, what's going to happen, what you will experience is a plateau. And when you experience plateau, it's not plateau, like I said, it's just downfall. It's not good. Okay. Business is either growing or dying. You always want to continue to grow, especially in times of mundane, you're just plateaued, you're sustaining. You have to fight for momentum. This is how you do it. Okay. This is how you fight for momentum. Number 2, okay, person number 2, the person who already has their business operating and it's going and it's growing. Well, guess what? Okay, there's 2 things that are happening at all times. There's the forces that are working against you. Okay, so for person number 2, everything that you worked hard for, all the momentum that you've created, every single force is pushing back against your momentum that you created, and it's trying to destroy it. So you have to push even harder on your momentum, right? The worst thing that someone can do, the worst thing that a winner can do when they have momentum is stop creating more momentum, is stop pushing momentum. This is from John C. Maxwell, okay? I forgot which law it is, but he has like leadership laws. And he basically says that one of the laws is momentum. And if you have momentum, the worst thing that you can do is stop creating more momentum. The worst thing that you can do is stop pushing harder because of the momentum that you have. It's a myth. You have to push over and over again. You have to continuously amplify your efforts. If you are already crushing it, if you're person number 2 and you're already crushing it, your business is growing, this is the time to pour more fuel on the fire, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, if you don't do this, if you don't take advantage of the market, if you don't take advantage of the timing that you created for yourself, if you don't take advantage of the momentum that you created for yourself, sooner than later, it's going to go down and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your business, and it's going to affect your life, because business is life, right? It's part of your life. So when it comes to this person number 2, here's the difference between you and number 1, okay? You have a team. You have people. You have an organization. You have assets, okay? You have a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's true. When you have a team, it's about helping that team explode, okay? It's about helping that team create momentum in all aspects, right? When you literally look at everyone on your team, everything should really be about helping them get to the momentum that you have as well. If you're not doing that, then everything is going to crumble. Here's why. It's because a team is only as strong as its weakest link. When one person on your team is going slower, it affects the next person that's running with them. If you know this as a leader, it's your job, or I encourage you at least, to isolate the ones that are running slower and help them get to that next level, help them push momentum. The reason for that is because it's going to be a win-win for everyone, not just for yourself and not just for that person. It'll be a win-win for everyone. So when it comes to you being this right here, number 1, again, it's a 30-day run basically. You have to already know what's working because you have so much data. You got to double down on what works, okay? Double down on that. But not only that, okay, because this is, again, marketing. Marketing needs to always be in play. For every business, marketing needs to always be in play. If you don't have a marketing machine that's in play, a systemized process for marketing, you should create that right away, because that's a bottleneck. That's a chokehold. That's a constraint for your business. This one thing right here is everything. Marketing. There's marketing, there's strategy, and there's innovation. Those three things, all in one pillar right here. If you're marketing already and you already know what works, how are you going to innovate it? How are you going to change it up? Stand out from the crowd. Take it to the next level. That's innovation, right? Strategy. Strategy is overarching. This is the overarching thing. This is where it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Stretching your vision, stretching your perspective, playing at a different level. Because I'm telling you right now, if you already achieved your goals, but you don't have a bigger picture goal, you don't have a bigger dream, a bigger vision, your momentum is going to slow down simply because you don't have something to go after. Okay? That's a mistake I made before. You want to have a big vision that is a little bit out of reach, or that is very out of reach, to give you fuel to continue moving. Okay? That's all about strategy, though. That's direct, in my opinion, that's directly related to strategy. It's your vision. Where are you going? And then marketing ties into it, and then innovation helps you stand out. Okay? Innovation just changes the game. It differentiates you from the rest, because everyone here needs to be different than the rest. And just by you being you, you're already different. But double down on what's working right here. The next 30 to 60 days. The next 30 to 60 days. The next 30 to 60 days is obviously breaking operations. Okay. Breaking operations. This right here, this is about systemizing everything. This is about optimizing your systems right away, okay? If you are, this is about person number 2. If you don't have standard operating procedures, I'm talking about written out step-by-step instructions, step-by-step plans for your operations. No matter how much you do in terms of marketing and your momentum is skyrocketing, you're literally, your chokehold, your constraint is now in operations, just simply because you don't have systems in place, right? This right here, if you don't have systems in place, this last quarter, the last 60 to 90 days, it's very difficult, because you're stuck. You're basically stuck here. You're basically stuck in operations. If you want to go bigger and you want to go faster, getting your systems in place is so crucial to your expansion, to your growth, as this person here, as person number 2. If you don't have this, again, I'm telling you right now, you're going to suffer a lot. You're going to have a lot of headaches, simply because you're going to be at a plateau. You're going to not be able to get to the next level. Okay? The biggest difference between someone that's making, let's say, like $5 million and $10 million is just one thing. It's this thing right here. It's operations. The reason for that is because you can't, like, you burn out, basically. You'll burn out. Basically, every single operation out there in the world, every business that cannot get past a certain point, they can't break through that level, that layer, that wall, whatever that may be, it's simply because it's operations. They can't expand beyond what they have already. They can't expand beyond their capacity. And no matter how much marketing they do, if they don't fix this, then they can't go to the next level. It's that simple. So this is what I'm talking about, where you should always have a recruiting pillar in place, because with this right here, that next rock star will help you surpass this, or that next knowledgeable expert will help you create this, or that next best person is going to help you understand how to get to the next level. It's that simple. It's about always recruiting the best of the best. It's about being surrounded with the best of the best. But this, you can't get there. You can't recruit A-player talent if you're not an A-player yourself, because those A-player people will recognize and see the A-player in you. And if they don't see that, then they might not want to join you. Does that make sense? So that's why it's so important that, you know, when it comes to your personal brand, right? The foundation of your branding, who you are, what story you are sharing with everyone else is going to be a reflection of you, and it's going to determine who is attracted to you, right? So it just depends on what how you want to play it out. But I think we all want to get to the next level. I think we all want to help other people win. I think we all want to make a deeper impact. And so again, it's about, there's many different layers to it, but culture is another thing, right? What type of culture are you providing for your team? What type of culture are you providing for your people? What type of culture are you creating, right? Or what type of culture have you already created? How can you get to the next level? So it just depends, again, but
I want to add something about
yeah, I thought you were
operations
going
and
to, yeah.
systems.
I thought you were going to.
I would say that operations and having a system is so important. You can do a lot of things on the front end that are income producing activities. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a good operations or systems, like what Shun said, like that's where you are going to be burning out. And what burnout looks like is you're doing the same thing over and over again, but we're humans and we only have so much energy, right? So where do we want to spend that energy? And if you can systemize something that is constantly repeated, then you wouldn't have to repeat yourself anymore. And you wouldn't have to spend your energy doing that one thing over and over and over again. And what you could do is that one thing over and over again that actually builds the income producing activities, right? And drives traffic in. And so you'll see that you don't have
Share a system
a good
example.
system once it breaks.
Yeah, so okay, 2020, I created the Trello boards. 7-stage flow is a system, right? The 7-stage flow is for every single new person in the blueprint, right? I share the blueprint process. A blueprint for every single new person is welcome call, find out their why, what their colors are, help them create their 30-second story, like all these things, right? Do you have a step-by-step system in place to share a blueprint? And not only to share it, to execute on the blueprint and then duplicate that blueprint, right? So I literally have, I was looking at it I was looking at it last night because I watched Jackie's video on the compensation thing, because I wanted to see all right, there's a new compensation plan, let me see what's up. And one of the things that inspired me to take a look at the Thrive systems again was because she shared about the blueprint. She shared about, this, I got a blueprint someone. And I remember sharing the blueprint process with Jackie. And so to tie it all back in, I re-looked at everything that I created, and I have all the systems laid out for Thrive. I already created all the systems in 2020. We just never implemented it. But all of it is there. I have everything. I have all the PDFs. I have all the Trello board. I have everything there. But that's basically what it is, creating a system that is step by step. And then from there, being able to execute it through duplication, right? Through duplication. So one of the things that I got inspired from Jackie from was the Google Docs, right? Jackie uses her Google Doc process. That right there, the Google Forms. That right there is so crucial and key to a system, right? To a Thrive system. And because anyone can do it, right? Anyone can do it. Shouldn't taught me the blueprint. You refined it. Angela, yes, blueprint changes our business. Yeah, changed our business. Yes, 100%. Yeah, that's just part of it though, that's part of creating a system. But to go in deeper, we can go over systems on the next call, on the next episode. I'll write it out. But systems, and we could go Thrive specific if we want to. But systems for Thrive, the most important thing for your Thrive business when it comes to a system is this. It has to be duplicatable. You can't see it because of the ring light, but it has to be duplicatable. Okay. No, it's up there. Is she okay?
Yeah, she just jumped on her skin.
Okay, listen, people are lazy. I just been doing copy paste now. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when it comes to a system, there's a lot to systems. It has to be frictionless. It has to be duplicatable. You have to, if you're able to take a person off the street and put them in front of the system, they should know the system front, left, right, and back. It's like that. That's what a real good system is about. When you put a child in front of the system and they're able to execute on the system, that's when you know you have a good system. Okay. That's the power of creating a real duplicatable system. So when it comes to the blueprint, like I created a Google form that will just expedite the blueprint for us, just simply because, like, you know, it's about, we got to go on the run. It's like 0 to 30. That's where like Crystal and I are at, 0 to 30 in this business. We got to create the momentum again. So that right there is about just duplicating the system. And how do you add things to your life when you're super busy, right? How do you increase your inputs or decrease the inputs to increase the output when you're super busy already, right? We have multiple businesses that we're handling right now. Every single day that we're living, there's fires left and right. There's things that we have to do. There's meetings that we have to hold. There's so many different things that are happening all throughout the entire day. So being able to create a system that's duplicatable and then outsource and delegate and offset that and offload it from your work environment, your work list, that's key to getting to the next level. Because ideally, you should everyone here, I want to talk about this on the next call then, because if this will help, let's talk about systems on the next call specifically. But everyone here, everything that you're doing, I'll leave it off with this, and then we got to go. I'll leave it off with this. So let me just read what Angela said, and then I'll go into it. Blueprint, create 30-second story, and welcome calls. Yes. Yeah. Start with teaching our team this. Grab a partner and teach it and do it together. 100%. That is the onboarding process. The onboarding process for every new thriver is welcome call, blueprint, help them create their 30-second story. The reason it's so important to create the 30-second story right away is so that way when they share it and they talk to other people, they can share the 30-second story already. Okay? That's the 20% that gets the 80 done. Not only do they need to know in the blueprint, not only do they need to know about their own 30-second story, they need to know your 30-second story too. So that way they can share, the newest promoter can share your 30-second story, because your 30-second story is one of success already. They need, again, there's point A and point B. Every new thriver, every new promoter needs to be able to know their 30-second story to share with new people. And they need to know your 30-second story so that way they can share a success story with the next person. That helps them get from point A to point B. It helps the newest person that doesn't know about Thrive yet or about your idea, you know, where it's going. And it gives them the gap. There's something called the gap from point A to point B. That gap is what will help people determine if they want to decide to take action or not. Okay. So that's part of like sales now. That's a sales process right there. But it's just about helping them, guide them to the next step. So it's again, you know, when it comes to the blueprint, if you haven't done a blueprint yet, like you got to learn it. You got to know how to do it, experience it for yourself, and then create your 30-second story. And then learn your team's 30-second stories. Okay. 30-second story with the product's story and 30 seconds with the opportunity. Yes, have both 100%. So it's so important to have the 30-second story mastered, because you can share it anywhere and you can do a reel with it. Yeah, you can do short form stories and videos, etc. with it. But one thing before we go, this is so important, especially for everyone. Do your best to figure, because this is part of systems. Whatever you are doing right now that you do on a daily basis, if it's not helping, I'm talking about business. If it's not helping you grow your business, I'm sorry. Okay. Whatever, I need to draw it out for you guys. It's going to be easier for me to articulate it.
Draw it.
Yeah. This is part of systems and duplication, okay? This goes hand in hand. I need to stand up. We'll go right now.
We have a copy of the 30-second story.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I have all of it.
So this is also part of the systems. I found the how to share your story in one of our group chats. So this is actually part of the systems. It's like having a place where everyone knows where to go to, resources, and then kind of walking people through it, right? So I just want to share that real quick, but go ahead.
I have a Trello board with 100 different boards on it. for Thrive.
That might be too much for people.
No, we don't want to share that. It's not duplicatable. But okay, so whatever here,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, okay? For everyone here can do this right now because this is part of systems and duplication. This is an example. Whatever you are doing every single day, okay? This is daily. This is part of your DMO, your daily method of operation. Let's say, for example, you're doing a reel, okay? If you're shooting short form content every single day, what has to happen with short form content? It has to be edited, it has to be posted. How can you find a way to duplicate yourself where you don't have to edit anymore? It's about hiring a video editor, okay? If you notice on Crystal's Instagram, right? She's not doing the video editing. She's not even looking at the videos before it gets uploaded. She's literally just saying, I'm gonna do FIREHOUR, I'm gonna do a video, and then I'm gonna have a video editor edit it, and then I'm just gonna approve it, and then I'm gonna post it, right? Hiring a video editor, okay? Hiring a video editor. Although video editing can take less than a minute, okay? Because I know how to do video editing in less than a minute, and it gets millions of views. I know how to do it. Even though I know how to do it, it's not something that I want to do forever, because realistically, I have other things that will be better use for my time. For you, Peter told me this on our date to hire someone to do my videos. Yes, yes. Peter, yes. 100% true. 100% yes. Do it. It's so worth it. I know in the beginning, there's a whole entire system for video editors, okay? It's a process. But when you commit to the process, you're going to be able to get to the next level, okay? Why? It's because you're now increasing the inputs that you need to increase, which is create more content, and you're increasing the output because you're putting more content out. Again, it goes back. So in this case, with this right here, if you don't have a video editor right now, you're going from your person 1 now. Remember how we talked about person 1 and person 2? You're person 1 with a new thing. The first 0 to 30 days, you need to create momentum with the video editor, okay? So yeah, we should go over this on the next call. We'll talk about video editing. We'll talk about systems. We'll talk about systems, okay? The next episode will be about systems. And I think that first topic threw me off earlier today. But this right here, when it comes to systems, it's about creating the system as fast as humanly possible, because systems don't make money, okay? What makes money is making money. That's what Crystal says. It's marketing. Marketing will make money. Marketing and then closing the deal, doing sales will make money. Systems only helps you do more marketing. Does that make sense? Okay. So the system is it's going to help you sustain and grow. But what's really going to get like more sales revenue, grow the business, it's marketing. So that's why it's in order. It's marketing first, it's operations second, and then it's scale next. It's the last thing is scale. Okay. If without operations, you cannot scale because it continuously breaks. Your operations will continuously break. That's where systems comes into play. And marketing, again, for everyone that's new, if marketing is not in play at all times, no wonder why your business is not growing. Does that make sense? No wonder why it's not growing. You have to go harder on marketing. 10x, 100x, all your efforts on marketing. The brand new person who's never done Thrive, never done business, wants to get their business off the ground. Marketing is everything. Focus on only marketing. Don't focus on systems or scale. Marketing is number 1. Once you create momentum and get results, start to systemize everything as you're fueling the fire for marketing, and then scale will naturally happen. Okay, and this is when scale is about talent. Okay, it's about the people. It's about surrounding yourself with the best of the best, getting people that are better than you on your team, in your team, with you on this journey. Okay, and then from there, always refine operations, create better systems, create duplicatable systems, etc. But this is, again, number 1. Okay, so on the next episode, we will talk about systems. And
Can I add something though?
Yes.
So with video editing, you guys don't have to have a video editor in order to market, right? Like
Yeah.
if you don't have a video editor, you can't afford a video editor. Like do your own content with the strategies that he gave on the other episodes. I forgot which episodes it was, but you did go over how to help people market themselves for free online using social media, right? So I just wanted to add that disclaimer in, just if you were like, oh my goodness, I can't hire a video editor, that means I can't market. Totally not true. Like that is just another level if you want to play with it, right? And for us, that's where we're at right now. For some of you, that's where you're at. That's where you want to go. That's what you want to do. Then do it, right? But you do not need a video editor in order to market yourself. Social media is free. You hopping on your video and creating a reel is free, under 60 seconds. It's about the content at the end of the day. The content and captions are important because some people are at work, they're looking and scrolling through their social media, even though they shouldn't. So guess what? It's on silent, right? So they are reading the captions while they are at work. So do you need a video editor to be successful, to do marketing? No, you do not, right? For some people, like that is how we leverage our time, right? Like if we're working in 3 or 4 other businesses and we have kids, like we kind of have no choice but to leverage our time just using that tool that we have. But you absolutely do not need to have a video editor in order to create content for free and to market yourself for free. It's about the message at the end of the day and the content that you're providing, the value that you are providing, because you all are your own individual selves. And there's something special about each and every one of you. What is that message you want to share with the world, right? So I just wanted to add that disclaimer.
Yeah, like I said before, the video editor is for the person that's number 2. It's for the person that already has momentum, that wants to get to the next level, right? Person number 1, do the work. Do the work. You know, if you can afford it, then I would suggest it to get a video editor.
So
but
leverage,
yeah, because I'm telling you right now, like you want to get to the next level, you don't want to be editing your own videos. You want to be focusing on marketing. You want to be focused on creating as much content as possible to explode your marketing efforts and then break operations so that way you can scale. Okay, I'm telling you right now. But that was video editor is specifically for a person number 2, person who already has a team, person who already has an income, a cash flow that's coming in, person that number 2 that already is at a level where they need to decide to put their time elsewhere. Okay, that's for a person number 2. That's if you want to get to the next level, and it's not necessary. Okay, it's not necessary whatsoever at all. However, I would encourage you, if you want to get good at systems and scale, go bigger, then like start to recruit talent. Start to recruit talent. Remember, this is about talent right here. Scale, talent, recruit the best of the best around you. Start to collect assets and become a business owner, not a business operator. You know, you still want to do both, but I mean,
you're my biggest asset. You're one of my biggest assets ever.
There's
You're one of my biggest recruits. Thanks, Shen.
There's you know what? Let me share with you guys one last thing. Okay. Okay. With FIREHOUR specifically, I think this is something to share that's important. With FIREHOUR, we have all different levels, you know, of business owners, entrepreneurs on FIREHOUR. So we're not being very like whenever I'm talking about something, like sometimes it's not very specific. Sometimes it's very broad in general. And the reason for that is because I just want to hit as many people as possible on FIREHOUR to make it valuable. I'm going to share with you one thing though. This is up to you to decide. Okay? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is not ready, the teacher will disappear. When it comes to us, all of us as being students, when you ask the questions, specific questions for your specific situation, the teacher will appear and give you answers. Okay? So when it comes to systems, for example, when Angela asked, like, can you share a systems example? I can go super deep on a system that is specifically for Angela at the level that she's playing at. I can do that because it's very specific. That means that I will focus in on a specific system that will help her at that level. However, because I know how this business works, how this business operates, I can address her specific situation at her specific level and make it duplicatable for everyone who's just starting out. Does that make sense? That's the power of a business strategist, of the knowledge, of someone that knows a lot about systems. right? Specifically with this business, okay? So it just depends on what the question is going to be about. But if you have a specific question for your specific situation, always ask it, because you just never know who has an answer for it, right? We have many people on Fire Hour. One person might know the specific answer for your specific situation. Always ask. This is the mastermind effect. When you ask a question in a mastermind, you activate the mastermind effect, where you now are activating making a war with a multitude of counselors. You're asking questions and activating different ideas, and we're now creating a new idea that is more refined and more optimized for your specific need. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people will probably have to replay that, but do it, rewind the video and play it again. But that right there, again, it's about creating specific answers for your specific needs. So that's what's going to be really valuable for you. If you have a specific need that needs to be addressed, ask the question, and then from there, we'll be able to refine it or have someone refine it for you. And then from there, move you to the next step. Okay. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck by not asking questions, right? Proceed forward and break through the questions that you have or that you need to get addressed and answered, so that way you can get to the next level, right? It's up to you on how fast you want to go. Is it stop? Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, on the next episode of Fire Hour, come ready with questions for systems, with operations, or with anything that you have. But come ready with questions, because we'll go through it, and like it'll be simple.
Can I add to that? So I feel like if you guys ever have any questions, like please reach out. Like literally, if you have a list of questions, like reach out, like message us, and just shoot all of your questions that you have, and we'll compile a list, and we'll start by the ones that are like maybe the most popular, right? Like the most popular questions that everyone's asking for, that would tell us that like that's what's going on and that's what you guys really need help with, or that's what you want to learn. So like shoot us a message, give us a list, we'll compile it, and then we will basically like go over it and then present it.
Just ask them. Literally have your questions ready. When you go, okay, one last thing, and then we'll go. When you go networking, okay, when you go to events, here's how you can stand out very easily, okay? If you ever have an opportunity to get on the microphone in an event and ask a question, if you're not the speaker, you get to ask a question. Have one powerful question that will make you stand out from the rest of the room, okay? Because when you ask that question, not only are you contributing to yourself, but you actually are contributing to the entire room as well. And the reason why I say that is because when you ask an insightful question, that's the key. Okay, that's the trick. When you ask the insightful question, everyone in the room will respect you. And the reason they will is because they're going to learn something new that they didn't think about. Okay. I remember I was in a room on a Zoom call in 2020 with an NFL coach. And so he's like a famous coach in the NFL. And our good friend Carrie was hosting this Zoom. I asked an insightful question to the coach. And because I asked that, like I got a shout out, because it was an insightful question that made me stand out, but it also allowed me to learn about this person, a unique answer that he gave that no one asked him the question, and everyone in the room in the Zoom call was able to learn that, right? It's the same exact thing in person. When you ask an insightful question to someone in a room of people, not only will that person respect you because they're like, damn, like you asked an interesting, unique question, but everyone will get valuable insight. Okay, that's, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that's basically it. So, all right.
I remembered that. He was actually a coach for the Raiders before, if you guys ever heard of the Raiders.
So anyways, I hope this was valuable. On the next episode, we will talk about systems, okay? You guys start asking yourself questions first. Awareness, yes. Yeah, know thyself. Okay, know thyself, okay? Thank you all. Let's crush it. Have an amazing Wednesday. Dominate your path. Come ready with questions for systems, specifically constraints, anything that you need to break through, you can get an answer for, all right? But this right here, create momentum. The first brand new person, brand new promoter, have fun with this process. Have fun, go all out, be innovative, have fun with your marketing, with your social media. Just have fun with it, okay? That's how you can be innovative, have fun. But that's what you will test. And then you will start to see
how you can break the operations, and then you'll hit talent, you'll hit scale by recruiting more talent. Okay, so expand, get to the next level by expanding the perspective, expanding your vision. Help yourself get to that next level. All right, dominate your path and let's make it happen. All right, crush it. We love you all. Thank
Love
you.
you
Take care.
guys.